Hello, Coach Drew from the Cast Lacrosse Club. Hey, just wanted to kind of promote box lacrosse a little bit more for our families here in Greater Colorado Springs, Monument, up to Castle Rock, and who knows where else. And also just clear up a little bit of confusion in terms of the rules and expectations and the safety of box lacrosse. So Cosmo's going into their third year of the Castle Rock Box League. We're actually graduating from Pee Wee up to Bantam this year, and we're excited. We got an awesome group of dudes, rising in 7th and 8th grade that are ready to compete and play. And we're looking for more 3rd through 6th graders to compete at the novice level, which is 3rd, 4th grade, and Pee Wee at 5th and 6th. And I just want to clarify some, the importance of box lacrosse, which you'll hear from former head coach of Denver, Bill Tierney, multiple national championships under his belt, and the importance of box lacrosse. But also, I'll be back in a moment to talk a little bit about really the safety and the rules that I think there's a lot of confusion on. So stay tuned. But first here, how important box lacrosse is in developing the complete lacrosse player.
Well, we, in the fall, our non-traditional season, we actually play box once a week. We have some outdoor boxes that are right by University of Denver. And so we actually make our team a box team on Friday afternoons. We do all box drills. We scrimmage box. We stay out there for a good couple of hours. It's just amazing to see our guys that play this once a week for 5 weeks, how they develop just from all those things we talk about.
Thanks, Coach Tierney. I watch that video often just to kind of refresh and reinvigorate in preparation for our fall season that includes box lacrosse. We still play field, small field games as well as full field games here at Cosmo and in Colorado throughout the fall. But box is such a fun part of our fall, and it has been for 3 years now. So real quickly, to kind of elaborate more on the rules as opposed to how well box lacrosse can play in the overall development of our lacrosse players. There's even girls box lacrosse now, so it's everywhere and everywhere that you can play and participate, and based on age levels, different rules are applying. So one of our first ones we're going to talk about here is boarding. I'm actually going to put this right up on your screen here in a minute for the parents and players to read as a still photo, but I'll really quickly just read what boarding is. Boarding is illegal. Okay, it's illegal even at the pro level to a certain degree. Sure, you see it in hockey, you see it in box lacrosse, which obviously have a lot of similarities, but there's still a perimeter or a parameter, excuse me, that players can play or board some players. And certainly at the youth level, at any time when you knock a player into the boards, it's illegal. Okay, and then it's up to the official's discretion whether it's a minor, a major, or even possibly an ejection. So it's up to us coaches and up to us officials to make sure we understand what boarding. But real quickly, I'll read you from our rules and regulations for our fall box league, which boarding, any player or goalkeeper who body checks, cross checks, pushes, or causes an opponent to be thrown violently into the boards. All right, if a player takes more than 3 steps before making contact with the player, causing them to be boarded. That is boarding. Okay, so obviously there's going to be some incidental bumps and knocking into the boards, and that's pretty normal. Just think of a ground ball battle on the field. Really, it's going to be the same thing when you're close to the boards. A person gets knocked into it a little bit, but if anybody takes some liberties to actually take a run at somebody and board them in any manner with a stick or their body, it's illegal. So there's our first thing I want to clear up in terms of box lacrosse. And again, I'm going to post this little thing right here in our video so parents can read it. You can pause it and read the full description of what I just mentioned. All right, so rule number 1, boarding, it's illegal. All right, so now we got our boarding rules and expectations down for box lacrosse. Now we're going to talk a little bit about cross-checking and hitting from behind. Okay, first, I think the simpler of the two is hitting from behind. Okay, just like in the field game, there's no hitting from behind. Okay, many years ago, and I think they still do it in some places. I used to work for the Chicago Blackhawks. They had a big old stop sign in the back of their youth hockey players. We did this throughout Illinois, and I hope we do it still pretty much everywhere. But anyways, with a big stop sign, I would love to put that in on lacrosse jerseys. Heck, maybe we will starting in the future, but there's never any hitting behind. Ball or no ball on the stick. Nothing into the boards, never from behind. It's either a loose ball push or a push with possession. And obviously they're both infractions, sometimes serve, some are not, but that's it. So never from behind, okay? So there's never going to be some unsafe play from hitting somebody from behind, and worse, an unsafe play hitting from behind where you could possibly hit somebody into the boards in box lacrosse, okay? So again, just like with our boarding, I'll hold up and I'll post these expectations and player rules for box lacrosse here in a moment on this screen, okay? And then finally, cross-checking. Guess what? Cross-checking is both legal and illegal in box lacrosse, and let me explain, okay? Cross-checking in box lacrosse is meant to gain the advantage, all right? Cross-checking to a point is actually illegal in the field game. You'll see a cross-check that is, you know, equal pressure, equal balance, okay, in the field game playing defense, okay? And it's going to be very similar, all right? In box lacrosse, you have moving picks as opposed to a stationary pick in the field game, and that's how you use your cross stick, okay, your cross check with your stick to gain an advantage in box lacrosse, okay? And that's really important to understand. There's no running at somebody and blowing them up. Everything must be between, below the shoulder and above the hip. There's no high hits, okay? And that can and will be and should be called by every single coach and official in the game, and that's what we strive for in our in our box league in the fall. I know the gentleman who runs it. I actually coach with him, great guy, and he's an official as well. And I know that we'll make sure that is adhered to and that expectation is met by both our coaches, our players, and ultimately the officials policing the game and making sure it's safe and fun for all players, okay? So that's really it. I'm going to post this again real quick that you'll see the full definition of cross-checking as well as hits from behind, which in short is fully illegal, okay? So we'll be back in a moment. All right, to close this video out on box lacrosse, I really hope a lot more of our players locally here, like I said, in the Springs, Monument, Larkspur, up to Castle Rock, and everywhere in between, and even further away, or anyone wherever you're watching this video, really considers box lacrosse. I can tell you that our players, like I said earlier in this video, that are going into year 3, they absolutely look forward to this. That we just finished up our summer field season. We're kind of just taking about a month off and just kind of rest and recovery and still working on some basic fundamental skills, one night a week. But they really are excited about box, and it's just fun. Every player plays every position. Okay, obviously we have a goalie that stays in net and is fully padded up a lot differently than the field goal. But whether you're a defenseman or a forward, midi attack in the field game, you're going to play both in box, and it really helps you complete your skill set in terms of becoming a complete athlete and a complete lacrosse player. And then finally, just the strategies involved really help you play the field game even more cleanly and faster once you get back out to the field, because you're in tighter quarters, the ball moves quicker, the ball bounces, you got to play it off the bounce and all these different things. You can pick and roll even more often than you do on the field. And just in general, you make decisions quicker because you're in a tighter, smaller space. So any questions, email me at cosmolacrosse@gmail.com. I'm a huge fan of box, and I hope you become one too and get your son or daughter, in our case for Cosmo Chaos Lacrosse Club, we do boys. I hope you consider box lacrosse as part of your current or future training. Take care.